Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
He didn't even want to talk to the police. He just kept walking down 12th with the chainsaw in his hand.
A hit-and-run crash gets even worse for the victim when the accused allegedly pulls out a chainsaw. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. A West Fargo man had his car totaled, but he considers himself lucky. More on him in just a moment.
Well, 34-year-old James Parker from Illinois is the one in trouble with the law. He faces several charges, including hit and run, along with drinking and driving. But a terrorizing charge was also filed against him for allegedly pulling out a chainsaw and threatening the West Fargo man. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Nicole Johnson has our story.
Didn't really have time to think. It was just more of like, oh my God, this just got real.
Getting hit is enough to ruin anyone's day.
Kind of stopped, looked at me and backed up, and I yelled for him to stop, and he didn't stop.
Matt Kanya is no stranger to hit and runs. It's the third time he's been hit and ditched. This time, Kanya decided enough was enough. He called 911 and followed the driver.
We got to 12th Avenue, and he finally did pull over. He opened his door and kind of waved me towards his vehicle like he wanted to talk to me, which I didn't get out of my vehicle. I just shook my head no and told him no. And then he did get out of his vehicle. He grabbed a chainsaw from the passenger seat and then started to walk towards my vehicle with it.
It happened so fast, Kanya isn't sure if the chainsaw was running. As soon as he saw it, he backed up just as police pulled in.
First time I've heard of where we've had a chainsaw involved as a weapon.
Police say they are seeing more unusual crimes as the Fargo-Moorhead area grows. So if you wind up on the wrong end of a hit and run,
What the person did in this situation is probably farther than you would have to do.
write down the license plate number, get a good look at the driver, and call police right away.
I just wanted people to know that this can happen to anybody, you know? This could have been way worse than it was. You know, he could have taken my life. I could have ran him over. Anything could have happened in the heat of the moment, you know? You never know what to do.
Kanya says he did all the right things, but he's still left with a totaled car, picking up the tab for the third time. Nicole Johnson, Valley News Live.
Now, there is a fund being set up to help Kanya get a new car. We have that information, and we will have it up on our website shortly. Just log on to valleynewslive.com and click on this story.
The North Dakota Highway Patrol says alcohol was a factor in a hit-and-run crash that injured 2 people this morning. When investigators arrived, they found a pickup in the ditch with 29-year-old Darcy Ranum inside with cuts on her face. Investigators say the driver's side of Ranum's vehicle was hit broadside by 20-year-old Taylor Olson. Olson was also injured but left the scene and was found a short distance away. Charges are pending against Olson.
Well, hard to find anything wrong with today's weather, except for we still might need some raindrops out there in parts. Here's hoping that we have a beautiful weekend. Let's find out what tonight will be like with Hutch. Hutch?
Thanks so much, Stephanie. The wind taking the day off means delightful conditions heading into the evening. There is some gustier wind out to the west, but all of the valley and western Minnesota enjoying a very quiet evening of weather. Temperatures in the low 70s for Roseau, Warroad, mid 70s through Grand Forks and Fargo this evening, and it stays in the 70s for the early portion of the evening. Then after sunset in the 9 o'clock hour, we'll see your temperatures slipping into the 60s. But as we head into the day tomorrow, the wind picks up. Dry weather will increase the fire weather danger across the entire valley. We have a fire weather watch through 8 o'clock tomorrow night, but we do have a chance of some showers and thunder showers as we go through the weekend. So hour by hour details on that in a few moments.
All right, we need some showers, but that sun is nice too.
It is. We'll have a little of both, so it might be perfect.
All right, thanks, Hutch. Well, we now know the names of the 2 men who were killed after an ATV crash in Gardner, North Dakota yesterday. The owner and operator of the ATV was Corby Heller, and the passenger was Robert Schmitz, both from rural Gardner. The 2 were found by their neighbor, and investigators say that the ATV hit trees in the yard. But this case is currently still under investigation.
Today has been relatively quiet for rural firefighters. Yesterday, many were kept busy battling grass fires. Many people say that they're confused about a statewide burn ban after some cities have lifted their restrictions. Much of the valley remains under burn restrictions right now. North Dakota is under a burn ban until at least next Friday. That's May 8th. But Grand Forks and Fargo lifted city bans on fire pits and campfires. Fargo's fire marshal says the statewide order is only designated for fire dangers above high. Local fire departments can lift the ban during low or moderate danger days.
Yeah, so the fire danger and the red flag warnings are directly tied to the weather, and as we know, the weather changes daily, so that needs to be checked every day.
If you are unsure about the level of fire danger where you live, check with the Fargo Fire Department's website. As for Minnesota, the state is not under a burn ban, but counties such as Clay can place fire restrictions, and in Clay's case, they have done so.
Too Fat to Fight? It's the title of a new report from a group of retired military generals in Minnesota. The study says the majority of youth in Minnesota are too obese and unhealthy to meet the physical fitness requirements for the military.
And that, they say, represents a threat to national security. For some perspective, we took a look at numbers put out by the Centers for Disease Control.
Now, the obesity rates doubled for kids and tripled for adolescents in the last 30 years nationwide. They also report that more than 1/3 of all children and adolescents were overweight or obese in 2012.
With that in mind, Valley News Team's Bradford Eric talked to high school students, fitness professionals, and everyday people if they think kids are really that unhealthy and if this truly is a matter of national security.
The military cannot undo a lifetime of bad habits in a few weeks of physical training.
Too fat, frail, and out of breath to fight. A warning message from former military leaders. They say national security is at stake.
It's basically ridiculous. He does have a point that people are out of shape. It's true, but I don't think it's a national security issue.
Young, just visiting for the day, says sure, kids maybe don't get enough activity.
I think it's a little ridiculous based on the fact that I don't know, it's just not a threat to national security. That seems like a silly comment.
Thompson says she's been in and out of many area schools and hasn't seen problems. One of the report's recommendations, healthier school lunches. I talked to a few students in Moorhead during their lunch period today. They laughed when I said the report calls obesity a national security risk. They told me lunches are plenty healthy, and maybe the report is not taking into account what's eaten at home.
Parents are raising those kids, and you have to understand that the kids look up to you, and they will do kind of what they're asked, and you have to build that at a young age.
Melchior says kids do need to be active, and it's never too young to start. But parents also need to take responsibility, not always reaching for convenience. As for being too fat, frail, and out of breath to fight, one person suggested perhaps the military needs to learn how to help those people wanting to commit be healthier. Bradford Eric, Valley News Live.
Another of the report's recommendations, more kids need to walk and bike to school instead of taking the bus. Students at Moorhead High School say they see that quite a bit, and the district also encourages it.
Northland Technical College in Thief River broke ground for a new $6 million building today. They hope it will help them fill the need for employees for an exploding industry. The school's building a new aerospace building, helping train drone maintenance technicians. It's already working with Grand Forks companies who are doing drone research and development. Now they've formed a partnership with Titan Machinery in Fargo to help supply drone technicians in the precision ag industry.
Precision agriculture equipment technology. So that PAET program is going to be a new program for the Thief River Falls campus. It will bring us into the modern age of agriculture, and it will be followed by other agricultural programming that will really expand our reach.
This fall, students will be able to get their degree in drone maintenance within a year at Northland. Starting salaries in the positions can range from $50,000 to $70,000 a year.
The Minnesota Board of Animal Health announced 2 new presumptive positive and bird flu flocks in Minnesota today. That brings the current number of farms in Minnesota that will have their entire poultry flock destroyed to 72. One of those farms was recently added to the list yesterday in Otter Tail County. So far in our area, it's 1 flock in Clay, Wadena, and Roseau County, and 3 flocks in Otter Tail County.
Friends and family from all over Trail and Grand Forks counties are holding a benefit to help Trail County Sheriff Steve Hunt and his family with medical costs. In September of 2014, Hunt was diagnosed with a genetic liver disease. He's been placed on a transplant waiting list. If you want to donate, the benefit will be this Saturday at KC Hall in Reynolds, North Dakota. A free will donation, meatball dinner. They're going to be served from 4 to 8 p.m. and a live auction will begin at 6.
Can't beat a meatball dinner.
No.
Later on Valley News Live at 6, something for you to check out this weekend, the Parade of Homes.
We had some scattered showers in the morning hours and fog to start our day. Delightful weather to close out our Friday and a great start to the weekend. Maybe some rain for some. Details next.